Why do I place all these expectations on myself and get so upset when they don't occur? You don't look around and see all of the amazing things you have accomplished. You only look at what you haven't. Today we're going to be talking about disappointment and resentments and how they all relate to expectation. Expectation doesn't necessarily seem like a bad thing, but it could lead to those things if we don't put it in check. We're going to discuss how we can put it in check, what it means, and how it can relate to ourselves. But before we get started, I am Jade, and welcome to my channel called The Jade Edit. I am a certified Pilates instructor and mindset coach, and I'm very passionate about the mind-body connection and how you can edit your mind, body, and spirit. So make sure you go ahead and grab yourself a little something to sip on and maybe a snack. I have my Plant Lady mug with some guava green tea in here, and I'm ready to get going. But before we start, I am so excited because it is basically springtime. I truly feel like I do live up to my mug. I do feel like a little plant lady because orchids are so hard to keep alive. And when I tell you that I have so many beautiful blooms on my orchid right now, and I was so scared because going through winter, the flowers fell off, and so I was just like, man, I don't know if they're ever gonna grow back, but I stuck with it, kept watering it. A little hack, just place your orchid in water for 1 minute every week and they're good to go. And now it's beautiful and thriving. So whenever I look over to my left and see them, I feel so happy inside. Anyways, long story short, I deserve this mug. I didn't have expectations that they would grow back. I had hope that they would grow back, and now I am happy that they did. Does that relate to today's video? Maybe. I try to spin it to make it not seem like I just talked about my plant for a little bit, and that it did have some correlation. So we're gonna get into it. There is this quote from Anne Lamott that says, "Expectations are resentments waiting to happen." I had some disappointment the other day because it was my birthday, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way around their birthday. They just expect that they should be further along in life, and so they'll feel down. And I was so disappointed in myself. In turn, I was kind of being rude to the people who were trying to make me feel better because I just had this utter disappointment. After sobbing my eyes out and releasing all that funky energy, I sat with myself and asked myself, why can't being a good person just be enough? Why do I place all these expectations on myself and get so upset when they don't occur? Because when I have those expectations of I'm gonna be here by the time I am this age, you don't look around and see all of the amazing things you have accomplished. You only look at what you haven't. I was so upset that I didn't have the reach I wanted on social media, or that I wasn't consistent posting YouTube videos, or yada yada yada. But I completely disregarded the growth because I was looking at this number, the number that I had expected, and not what I have done. Because yeah, I wanted it to be such a big number, but who knows? Maybe I personally can't handle that right now. But there has been growth, and why can't that be enough? So we're going to talk about where expectations come from in general. It could come from your upbringing, cultural norms, things that have occurred. So growing up, I loved learning, and I still love learning to this day, but I was a ham because not only would I just love being able to be like, I got an A on this test, but I also loved the praise that I would get from other people by getting good grades on tests. I love getting praise from my teachers, my parents. I loved it. So I would sit down and study my butt off and expect to get a good grade because I tried my hardest. Usually those expectations would be met, and I would get the praise and all the glory that comes with having good grades as a kid. But then when I studied my butt off and there was stuff on the test that I didn't go over and completely forgot about, I would get so mad at myself because I would expect to get a good grade because I worked so hard. But then, there's this thing that I didn't expect that now has caused my grade to plummet, and I feel so much disappointment and resentment in myself, and that would compound because I wouldn't get the praise from my teachers and my mom would be mad at me. So instead of being proud of myself for sitting down and studying and at least getting maybe a B, I would be upset because I expected an A. B's are still okay. It's not the end of the world. But even though it was okay, and I should have been proud of myself for getting a good grade in general, I was so mad that I didn't get that A. And that could go hand in hand with our expectations. Maybe you had the goal of growing 10,000 followers. Hey, Jade editing here. I meant to say 100,000, just by the way. On Instagram by the end of the year. Now the end of the year comes around and you've only hit 50,000 followers. But that's still 50,000 more followers than you had at the beginning of the year. Are you going to be upset that you didn't hit the 100,000 followers? Or are you going to be proud of yourself that you grew and were able to create a community regardless of the number, and were able to reach a bunch of people regardless of it being the number you set for yourself? Odds are you're going to be disappointed because you had an expectation of hitting this thing that didn't occur, completely disregarding all of the people that you have helped and the community that you did build. One thing that I really want to discuss today too is the difference between goals and targets. Reframing goals to targets can help in a myriad of ways. So maybe you have that goal of hitting 100,000 followers on Instagram. Reframing that to be like, that is my target, that is what I want, is amazing, because maybe you don't hit the bullseye, but you still hit around the target, and that's still something to celebrate. Not only that, but it will help you live in the moment more. We could lose sight of what we truly want to do, how we truly want to feel, by focusing on those expectations. Because with focusing on expectations, there's only two outcomes. Either I hit it or I don't. And if I don't, I'm going to be disappointed and feel resentful. Now, I'm a huge believer in manifestation, law of attraction. I believe that our mind is so powerful and that we can achieve things when we put our mind to it. But like I said prior, the universe, source, God, whatever you want to call it, will only provide us things that we can handle. So maybe your goal is to reach that high number on social media. Can you actually handle that? So if you have a goal, and you're like, I'm gonna hit this number, and you don't, and you're upset because you're like, I did all the manifestation stuff, I journaled about it, I did yada yada yada, and you didn't get it, well, can you really handle that right now? Sit with yourself, really ask yourself that question, because it's an important one and very insightful. So if we release those expectations and focus on our growth, that is the most important thing. So another thing I wanted to discuss is the law of detachment. And this is really, really important because when we're not in that desperate state that we probably do feel when we're expecting something fully, we can allow the universe to have that unfold in a beautiful way that maybe we didn't expect to happen. So we have to detach ourselves from a result or outcome in order for it to manifest, which helps you have the utmost faith. And faith and expectations are two different things. Faith keeps you open to possibilities of how something will occur, whereas expectations are just my way or the highway, essentially. We need to release the expectations of how we believe something is going to unfold, and we need to hold that faith that something will unfold, regardless of how we perceive it to be. And once we release that expectation of how something will occur, we're gonna feel so much better. So I just want you to really be kind to yourself and really just be present, accept where you are now. Don't stop working towards your targets, but don't have expectations either. Release expectations and keep working, and I promise you things are gonna pan out better than you could even imagine. So thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I really hope it helped you. If you like this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really, really would appreciate that. And if you have a different perspective on how you view expectations, I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Make sure you leave it in the comment section below. And as a reminder, this is basically what has worked for me. It might not work for you, but I hope you keep an open mind to the aspect, because maybe one or two things could potentially help you on your journey of life. I post new videos every single Friday on this channel, so I will see your cute self in my next video.